In this video, we are going to work with editing genres. The idea is the following. We have this form here through which we can create a new genre. Now what we want to do is to reuse this form so that we can also update some genres. So for that we are going to create a new component that is going to encapsulate this form that we have here. So for that we are going to go to Visual Studio Code. I'm going to open the terminal because I want to create a new component. I will say ng-gc genres/form genre, and I'm going to say skip test equal to true, and I'll press enter, and that was created. Now I will minimize this and I will go to our create genre component because, as we said, I want to move this form into our new genre form component. So I will cut this from here and I will open my new component form genre. Let's go to the HTML and I will paste this here, and I will come back here and I will say app form genre, and now let's come here and let's get to work. As you can see, we don't have save changes or form or this method. That is because they are in the create genre class. So let's go there. Let's come here and I will have to get a lot of things from here. I will copy all of this. I will copy and then I will go to form genre class and I'll paste this here, and let's get to work. We have two ng on inits. I will delete one. I need to inject the form builder, so I will actually take it from here. Let me come here. Let me get this from here. I'll copy and paste it here. And there are some references, so I will say control dot and I will add all missing imports, and that added all the missing imports. Now let me come here. We don't need this because this form is only going to work with validating the genre, displaying the errors and things like that. So this seems to be working, and let's come here and this should be working also. So let me come here and this should also be okay. The final thing that we have to do is to come here and delete this. I can delete this also, and this. Let me delete this method that we have here, this function that we have here. And that's it. Now this is ready, but there are some things that we need to work. For example, when we press on the Save Changes button that we have here, we're going to fire this function. And when we fire this function, I want to notify the parent component that we want to create a genre. So for that, we need to use an event emitter. Remember that with an event emitter, we can send a message from a child component, which is this component, into our parent component, which is this create genre component that we have here. But first, we need to define what is the data type that we're going to send from here into our create genre. So we're going to create a new class. So let me open here, and here in genres, I will create a new file, which is going to be called genre.ts, and in here we're going to put the models related to genre, though actually, since there are going to be several models, I want to name this genres.model.ts. So let me collapse this, and I will create a new interface, which is going to be called interface genre creation DTO, which we're going to use to represent an entity, a genre that we want to create or update. So we're going to say here name a stream because we know that a genre has a name. And now we're going to come here to our form genre and we're going to use an event emitter here. If you remember, we have to use the decorator output. So output here, and I will say save changes. And I will say on save changes event emitter, and we're going to say genre creation DTO equal to new event emitter genre creation DTO. And now let's come here, and here I will say this on save changes emit, and we're going to send this form value. With this form value, I get access to the final object that represents everything that the user has put into the form. In our case, this is just going to be an object with the name property in it. And now here, I can come here and say on save changes and invoke save changes, and I am going to pass event here. So that here in save changes, I am going to receive the genre creation DTO. So I will say genre creation DTO, genre creation DTO. And in here I can say something like console log genre creation DTO, just to see that we're actually receiving something. So let me save everything and let's come to Google Chrome and let's see if everything works correctly. As we can see, we have a design problem which we can solve in a moment, but for now I will just say drama, and something that you can see is that we have the validation rules being applied. If I write drama with lowercase, we have the validation rule of uppercase. So let me say drama, save changes, and if I press F12, you can see that here we have drama, which is in create genre. So our new form is working. So let me copy the CSS styling of the create genre component, because this now will come to our form genre component, to the CSS of the form genre component. So let me save everything, and as you can see, this is fixed. Now let's work on the edit genre component. So let me come here, let me go to edit genre. I'm looking for the HTML of the edit genre component, and in here I'm going to say edit genre, and in here I will say app form genre, and we will say on save changes I will invoke the save changes method. We don't seem to have a save changes method, so let's create it. Let's go to edit genre ts and let me create that method here, and here I will receive a genre creation DTO, genre creation DTO, and we can save everything. And if we come here and we say edit /25, for example, you can see that we have edit genre here, but something that we want is to have a default value here, because if we are editing a genre, it means that it has a name, so we want to display that name here. So what we need to do is to allow our form genre component to accept an existing genre and fill the form with its data. So let's do that. Let's come here, and I will create that genre here in memory, of course. I will say model here, and the data type is going to be genre creation DTO equal to name, and let's say drama. And now I will send this down into our form genre component. So I need to say here model equal to model, and of course we need to define an input in our app form genre component. So let me press F12 here, and let me say here input. I will use an input here, and I will say model of type genre creation DTO. And now we can come down here, and in order to inject our model into our form, we need to use patch value. So let me say here, if this model is different than undefined, then we're going to say this form patch value, and we're going to pass this model. This patch value is going to insert the values of this object that corresponds to the values of our form group. For example, our genre creation DTO has this name property, right? So it is going to take the value of that property. Our patch value is going to take the value of this name property that we have here, and it is going to inject it into this name property that we have here in the form group. So now we're ready to test. Let's press Ctrl KS to save everything, and let's come back here. And now as you can see, we have drama by default, because when we load our component, we are passing down a genre creation DTO that has a drama value in the name property, and therefore that is being applied in our form using the patch value method. I can click on save changes, and of course nothing happens because we haven't said that anything should happen. But what I want you to see is that if I press on cancel and I come through create new, you can see that we have also this form here which we can use without any issues, which means that we are reusing our form both for creating a genre and also for editing a genre.